Everybody, it's that time.
Greetings and welcome to another broadcast of Rise2Prosperity, a show of education, motivation, and inspiration through communication. You may follow us on Facebook page Rise to Prosperity, listen to a live stream of the show at riseradiootr.com, or join in the conversation by dialing 404 910 3151. And now, your co-hosts, Minister Jamie and Lady Antoinette Eatman.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you all for joining us this evening. It is another Wednesday, and it's time for your live Rise to Prosperity broadcast. I thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I pray that you will enjoy the show this evening. We're just going to have a recap of what we went over last week. So, this is part two of the incentive program. Okay, the Rise to Prosperity incentive program. And so, we're just going to go over some of the questions we had on last week. So, I am not going to do a review. I am going to go ahead and set the atmosphere for our show for this evening. Now, I've got my co host coming in, Minister Jamie, and I want to see if he is ready to come aboard and do our and set our atmosphere. If not, then I will do it. Minister J. Okay, I guess he's getting ready. I will go ahead and do it. Will you pray with me? Gracious Heavenly Father, we come before your throne this evening, thanking you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon each family that is watching this now and those who will view it later. Father, we thank you for your grace, your mercy. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your blessings. We thank you for your favor. And Father, we just pray that all that is said and done during this broadcast, that someone will find a blessing in what we're doing. Father, we do it all to the glory of God and to the edification of your kingdom. So, Lord, please have your way during this broadcast. Let everything be said and done to your edification. This and all things we ask and pray in the spirit of Christ. Amen. Greetings. How are you?
Greetings. Are you talking to me? I am doing well. Peace and blessings.
Yes, I'm talking to you. Okay. Well, we've got our part two of our incentive program, and um, I just did. I just said our atmosphere. So, is there anything you want? I can just turn it over to you.
Did you do a review?
Oh well, I didn't do a review because we have the same questions. No, I didn't do a review.
Can you please?
Okay. Well, on last week on our part one, we spoke about our compare and contrast, which was stakeholder and shareholder. Um, and I did learn the difference in those two things. Also, we talked about the biggest or what has been the motivation behind Rise to Prosperity over the years. And one other question we had was that we were to give an oral history of Rise to Prosperity. And so we also did that. So this week, we're just going to continue or go back over some of the things that we went over on last week. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. Peace and blessings be unto you all. I am Minister Jamie Eatman, and I am indeed on the rise. I would like to start the program off with a little motivation.
Hmm.
and that would be in the form of a reminder of why we are here.
There I was, sinking to rise no more, far too far from that peaceful shore. Half in my grave, I could see my tombstone in place. When I heard my master's voice, I could hear him say, "You gotta rise, you gotta rise, you gotta rise, arise, my child. You gotta rise, arise, my child. Oh, you gotta rise, you gotta rise." Driven by the storms of life, enduring so much strife, I had lost my way, even found it hard to pray. As I began to fall, I heard my Savior call. He said, "Arise, arise, my child." He took my despair and gave me light. Now His grace and love shines ever so bright. He said, "Arise, my child, there is work to do." He told me to share my light with you. How precious is that flow that will make you pure as snow. No other help I know. You gotta rise. Oh, you gotta rise. You gotta rise. You gotta rise. Arise, my child. You gotta rise. Arise, my child. Oh, you gotta rise. 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 Arise, my child. Yeah. You gotta rise. Arise, my child. Oh, you gotta rise. 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 Gotta rise. Gotta rise. Rise above hate. Gotta rise. Rise in love. Gotta rise. Rise from despair. Gotta rise. Rise in hope. Gotta rise. Rise above war. Gotta rise. Rise in peace. Gotta rise. You've gotta rise. Gotta rise. You've gotta rise. Gotta rise. Jesus is the way. Gotta rise. The truth and the light. Gotta rise. Just trust in Him. You'll be alright. Gotta rise. Rise in love. Oh, rise. You gotta rise. You gotta rise. Arise.
Amen. Amen.
All right.
Yes.
Now that we have gotten the "You Gotta Rise" out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get started. We've done a review here. Our topic today is Rise to Prosperity Incentive Program. And last week, as we talked about the Rise to Prosperity Incentive Programs, I'm actually going to be correcting our questions as we go. For some reason, I must not have saved the document. But the first question is, Lady Antoinette, what are your thoughts of the Rise to Prosperity Incentive Program?
Well, I feel that the program is a good program. It It's a good program. I feel that once it takes off, once we, try to work out the kinks, um, that it would be very beneficial to communities if they choose to adopt it.
Okay, by kinks, we want our listeners to be informed. What do you mean?
Um, I mean, any kinks, whenever you start something new, there's always some things that you have to go back and redo or think about, so whatever those may be.
Oh, okay. All right. So as it grows, because unless you have a kink, you're talking future things as we move forward, right?
Mhm.
Okay, got it, got it, got it. Well, hopefully there won't be too many kinks because there's been a lot of effort and energy put into it. So it would really be a big question of making it work or not. Do
Mhm.
you what are your thoughts on it working? I mean, do you think it's something to be received well by, what, it was created to change the narrative. Do you see it as having the potential to change the narrative?
Well, I don't know. That's kind of iffy because your for the conception of it and uh that at that time of the conception of it, we had our own neighborhoods. Now everything's blurred. So, it's just I don't know. I don't know. Everything's kind of, nowadays everything's kind of blurred. Um the neighborhoods we did have, of course, they're gone now. Um and they've been replaced. So it's I don't know. It would just be something to uh go to a let's say you would go to the Colony Hills community, which is a community, but it's mixed. Or you go to the Cascade Height community. It's mixed. So we would just have to see. We would just have to see.
I love your answers because they address some very important points. I'm going to
Mhm.
make note because I think for some reason we might not even get to the notes that I had. But you said that we don't have communities. Explain that. Well, before,
Well, the
well, actually,
narrative.
hold on a second. Before you do that, this is what I'm going to have you do. Define community as you're using it.
Okay. Um, I was trying to define it as those places that have things in common, like um, race, um, churches, um, maybe hobbies. You know, so I was thinking of little 5 points. Um, a lot of people in that area, they're artists. Uh, and they're mixed, but they have that in common. They're artists of some. They have some type of artist background, or they're upcoming artists. So that's how I would define community. And if when you talk about the narrative, now the narrative that was made, I don't know when that narrative came out. However,
What is the narrative you're referring to? We want people to
the
be able
one
to.
where it says the circulation of the dollar, in the black neighborhoods,
in the black
communities. Right. The
was
circulation.
finish it up. I mean, people don't know. We got to make it sound as though we're
It
explaining.
stays in our community for what, 6 hours or less?
Okay, it was said to be 6 hours of one rotation.
Okay.
Okay, so when that narrative pertained to community, what community? How would you describe the community that that narrative referred to? When you
That
said that,
narrative,
when you
I would
said that,
think,
excuse me a second, when you said that we had a community that we don't have anymore, what community that that narrative referred to, you think that doesn't exist now?
um, you mean exactly what it says, the black neighborhoods.
So we don't have black neighborhoods? Is that what you're saying? Or do you want to retract that statement because it doesn't fit our narrative in our conversation there? Because if I understood you correctly, you were saying that we had communities, but they don't exist anymore under the
Right.
same. Okay, so when you are saying that, so let me get clear, because maybe you're saying that the communities that were once solely black communities are now mixed communities. Is that what you're getting
Hmm.
at?
Hmm.
Oh, okay, all right, all right. Go ahead. So I got you. Was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. So just so we're on the same page, because that's why it's so important in all I get, and we get an understanding. I want to welcome Deborah Truzel Westcott Taylor. I know I probably messed up one of them names there, Deborah. Please forgive me. To the program, she says it's peace and blessings. Long time no see. I will be tuned in as long as I can. We appreciate your tuning in. You are indeed a blessing.
Yes, yes. Welcome, welcome. We missed you,
Thank you
sister.
so very much.
Hmm.
Okay, those of you who are listening on TikTok,
Greetings, Sister
you're
Joanne.
listening to the Rise to Prosperity program, and we are dealing with the topic of Rise to Prosperity 2. This is a
Amen.
program that we was doing a good while now. So as you all get to listen in, please, if you have comments, share it in the text, and if I can catch it before it disappears, I'll make it a part of the show. So peace and blessings be unto you all. We've already prayed and everything. Sister Joanne says what?
She says she can't stay. She's headed to church, but she wanted to say hello to all of you guys. Greetings, peace, and blessings, Sister Joanne. Glad you could drop in.
Yes, thank you, Sister Joanne. I pray all is well and remains that way with you. Peace and
Mhm.
blessings. Okay, so moving forward, common definition here. Community, as the narrative went, it wasn't dependent solely upon our communities being black, for one. The other thing is that, so we're on the same page. We aren't really saying dollars in our community to imply that it's a solely black community. We're saying our communities in that's predominantly where we live. I think that's a fair definition that we can move forward.
Well, well, doesn't it say the dollar in the black community?
Hmm. So you don't think those are considered black communities? So where you going to move the black people? You're going to just take the houses, what they already have? Now I'm only joking, but their communities have probably always been mixed to a degree. But the
Mhm.
intent behind that conversation isn't the fact of it being solely black, but that it's a predominantly black community. So, as I said, for clarity purpose, that's the definition that we're going to go with. So let's say on the predominantly black community, do you have a lot of other than, let's say, you have a lot of Black businesses, even here in
Mm.
Atlanta, which is a place that has a lot of Black people, successful Black people? Would you say
Mhm.
is about 50-50 or what?
Atlanta?
Mhm.
I would say it's about
I said business-wise, not population.
business-wise. Oh, business-wise, hey, I would think about 60-40.
Okay, so let's say it's 60-40.
Mhm.
Of that 60-40, do you think a lot of people that's not in that immediate area comes to that area to shop? Let's because we're dealing with that narrative, a lot of people of Black people or people of color come to that area to shop.
Come to that business to shop,
That
because
area,
that
whether
business could be in an area that's not predominantly Black.
that's my point. So, but I am referring to the predominantly Black community. See, when you
Mhm.
look at the narrative, so we understand it, the dollars that are spent within the Black community increases the possibility of jobs in the Black community. So when the more dollars are spent in that community, more successful that business become, and the more productivity or benefit the community receives. So when you say that those businesses, whether they're Black or not, that's on the other side of town, those dollars are still going on the other side of town. The narrative was spent in our communities. So they were referring to the place that would bring about benefit to our communities.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. So the percentage you says, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. As far as the program goes now, back to that question that we kind of got away from. So when we say that the R2PIP program and its original concept has changed, how do you see that as changed? Based now that we
Um,
got the narrative down.
well, I think, that it would have to, like I said before, we would have to, it would have to be implemented, and then we'd have to try to work out some of the kinks. Because in those neighborhoods that were predominantly Black, you have they're mostly mixed now. So if you're talking about businesses, and they're spread out, they're just not in our neighborhood. They're wherever the rent is cheapest. That's probably where they're gonna have a business. So and it won't necessarily be in our neighborhood. So I think once it's implemented and the kinks are worked out, uh, I don't know about that narrative though. I think that narrative may be outdated, and maybe it could just be for certain areas. It could just be for certain areas because I don't know all the states. Maybe in certain states they do still have, you know, predominantly Black neighborhoods. I don't know. I just know where we live, where I work, I have seen the neighborhoods over the past 30 years, 40 years disappear. And they're gone.
Where did they go?
The government got rid of them. They
Okay,
they
so
they got rid of them. They tore down all the houses. They revamped. They built homes. Um, um, they built homes. They built senior citizen facilities. They just redid the whole area, and those who could live there were not the people who were there before.
Okay, so let's bring some light to what you're saying. So we start off with a program designed to change the narrative pertaining to communities. And as you point out, those narrative may not be correct because those numbers have changed, highlighting the fact, based on what you just said, that some of those places was gotten rid of so that other people that could afford to stay in that area or move into the area moved in. So what was a predominantly Black neighborhood or business area may not be now because of that. So do you see that as being a need for Rise to Prosperity Incentive Program or a similar program? Or do you see that as being reason not to have one?
Well, the incentive program was to change the narrative, I thought. But if the narrative is not there, then
Hmm.
it would be just to um it would be just implement the program to just get participation.
Okay. I want to thank Kelly Lewis for watching. She says, peace and blessings to Lady Eatman and Minister Eatman.
Greetings, Sister Callie.
She says that she's listening and excuse her spelling.
Long
Long.
fingernails. All right.
Okay. That's what happens when you have all those real nails. Anyway, thank you for joining us. We got
Amen.
you and Deborah. That is really a treat, just like old times. Thank God for both of you. We are talking about the topic of the Rise to Prosperity Incentive Program. And Lady Antoinette, can you, because I could do this, but I like to hear. Can you give us an overview of the Rise to Prosperity Incentive Program?
Well, the incentive program is a program to one
Thank you, Brother Tony. Peace and
change the narrative of the situation in the Black communities. Is to get participation as far as a shared currency for our
blessings.
communities.
Okay. Okay. So now, when you say our community, the concept wasn't our community. Concept is the community. A community where you want to empower a community is based on economics. As you stated, those communities where they removed the buildings, then the price was higher than the people could afford. A lot of that was because there wasn't probably any jobs in their communities. They're working on the other side of town, which decreases cost gas and a lot of things. Just nothing happens very much in their community. So you're saying that because that was successfully made worse, you shouldn't look at doing better. Is that what you're saying? I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm just pointing out any type program that could change our narrative because we see where it appears not to be a need. We have to be objective. The whole reason for those neighborhoods being there was to house people. So when it was more convenient for a government or a governmental institution and they can make more money, they moved those people, created housing that those people could not afford. So possibly, and they might have given them place in another area. But my point being, there are still locations which didn't surround. In most cases, when you see that, it's either dilapidated building and people saying that they are making the area better. In some cases, it might do that. But along with them making it do that, that brings about change. But the concern is more so in the areas where that hasn't happened. And there are or are not businesses within that community. Do you think that there are still exist such situations?
It's possible, but all of them in the Atlanta City area are gone. Even East Point, they're gone. Um, all of them that I knew of, they're no longer there.
Those older houses, you mean?
The the housing authority homes,
Oh,
low
okay.
income.
Let's be clear. We're not just talking low income homes, because this is a problem here that regardless of what the homes may look like, if there's no businesses within that certain area and you still going to another area to shop where all the malls, all the commerce area is, that's not doing very much for local businesses and entrepreneurs in that area. Agreed?
Agreed. And some areas, let's say out by the universities, they have put in strip malls, but the businesses are not by us. We have a Publix there. We've got um, we've got the Chinese store there for Chinese food. You've got um, Blimpies or Subway.
Which are
So
franchises that are usually owned by, some of them may be owned by some of us,
should
some
be,
of them
yeah.
may not. But my point to you is, when you go into a neighborhood like that and you see all the circulation of money that's taking place. So let's assume that the neighborhoods don't look like that, but somehow these people, wherever they're going, they're still visiting and frequenting these businesses. So is that money ending up circulating and back to their community or into one of these other communities that you just described?
Mm,
Chances are, if you went to a Chinese restaurant, the dollars that you spend for the Chinese food is going to stay in the Chinese community until such
mhm,
time as it goes to the bank. Is
mhm.
that probable?
Yes.
And that's with any other ethnic group. So my point is, without some incentive to inspire uh, people of color or Black people to shop with Black people, because the nature has been that the money is spent elsewhere. So whether that narrative needs tweaking or isn't up to date, when you do your statistical report, you only can go on what statistics reveal. Statistics are made at a present time, which reflect the time in the past. So until something is updated, you have to work with the present statistics. I would definitely like to think that there's been some progress made, but at the same time, I would probably think that if you did on a curve to the point where there might be progress in one area, there's progress in the other. The more things appear to change, sometimes the more they stay the same. So without doing something assertive to bring about that change, chances are it doesn't just happen on its own.
Mhm.
So I go back to the Rise to Prosperity program. When you say the tweaks and all of that, that's a good response, because most things that are new are often, if others, some people had their way, they tweak it right on out of the equation. But there's the question of need. That's usually the thing with most things. Is there a need for it?
Mhm.
So now that we've gotten to that portion, here comes the real nuts and bolts of such a program. You mentioned its own currency. Is that what you said, or something similar to that?
Mhm. Something like that.
So
Yeah.
explain that to me.
Well, and having their own currency to shop with within the community, it would be a currency that will that can the price of that currency can go up or down, like gold. Um, so depending on, I guess, the what it's trading for on on a specific day, you may get more for that token if you use it in a store than you would on some other day.
Is that it?
Hmm?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you said is correct, but most tokens work on a concept of the more they are utilized, the more they increase in value, correct?
Mhm.
So if you look at the narrative concerning how much money comes into the Black community and where it's spent, if there was incentive to spend more money in the Black community, do you think that would probably mean progress?
Yes.
So that was I can't remember her name, but there was a young lady that did a book that's something about 1 year buying Black, and her intent was to spend her dollars within the Black community. And one of the things, a few of the things that she found was that there were not that many Black businesses,
Mhm.
and the ones that were in existence did not, in some cases, have what she needed. So she still was not able to do that. For example, gas stations there, I think there was a problem with finding some of those. So with that type of a finding, and if you wanted to look at empowering that community, there would have to be some form of an incentive for that community to shop with each other. So now when you look at that, are you familiar with what's the term they use for people that receive assistance, food stamps with children and all that? I think
The term
it's not,
welfare?
no, I'm looking for the card that they use. There's a
The
card that,
card.
but anyway, there's a card that these people are issued, and this
Mhm.
card can only be spent or used in certain places, correct?
Right.
So by putting that card where it's used in certain places, they are determining where that currency, digital currency, will be spent. They are determining what it can be spent on, are they not?
Mhm.
So that is a form of empowerment, correct?
Right.
Okay, so if we're talking about empowerment and we're looking at a community with the intent of changing the narrative, by having an incentive to steer or guide the spending, that would naturally change the narrative to a certain extent. We have two
Mhm.
answers for that cars. One says
Yeah.
SNAP and the other one
Independence
says
card and SNAP. Yeah.
independence card. But my point being, those cards come with certain, and in this case, they aren't even incentives, they're
Right.
limitations.
Right.
So if you look at this coin that you're referring to, token, however you like to address it, if it's designed to incentivize and reward customers for shopping with a particular business, it couldn't help but change the narrative alone, because the
Mhm.
narrative is what percentage is spent in our community. So if you're rewarding and incentivizing individuals to shop their own community just by having their own currency, do you think that would incentivize their practices of where they spend?
Um, yes, I think so, but I think that it would be more advantageous to spend with Black-owned businesses than in their own community.
Well, most Black-owned businesses, entrepreneur-wise, are in their community. They just not don't get the support. There's a lot of people that are doing businesses, small business, maybe some that are out of their car, or that someone tells you how to get there, and it's not your script mall, where's his business located at. Maybe someone, um, I don't know if people still do things out of their home garage or whatever, but these are still businesses that might be struggling,
Mhm.
but because they're not getting the customers or the money that would probably allow them to expand or develop a more prominent presence, you'd want to incentivize and reward those individuals who shop with them, and they would be rewarded and incentivized for their accepting the currency. So now that we've gotten that, do you see the advantage of utilizing that? Do you see an advantage of utilizing it?
Yes.
So now let's look at the other aspect of it. If you're utilizing something that increases in value as you use it, as you say, that has the potential to go up or down, there are businesses when they want you to shop with them, what do they do with their prices?
They give discounts, they have
They give
sales.
discounts.
Mhm.
So if let's just say a business wants your service and they haven't seen enough faces and they want more of them, they'll do a little marketing in that community and offer them a certain discount. And what do the people do with the I don't know how many people clip coupons now. They might send them by digital to the phone, but when
Mhm.
that person receives that coupon, they're more than likely going to go to that business, correct?
Right.
So that's an incentive or reward to shop that business. So it's proven science-wise that by having the incentive and the reward, it brings
Mhm.
about a certain behavior.
Right.
So if we were looking to change the narrative in our communities, we would need something that's going to bring about that behavior or rewards and incentivizes the desired behavior. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say concerning the token and the possibility of it going up and down, that's true. When we look at currency, do
Mhm.
you realize that your current president, when he went into office, sought to secure the dollar, if I'm not mistaken, with cryptocurrency
Yeah.
that
Yes, I
has
know
the
that.
potential to go up and down?
Mhm.
There are people today that still invest in crypto that has the potential to go up and down. So when you make a statement like that for individuals that aren't informed, that thought of it going down might be enough to say, no, I'm not going to invest in that, but not knowing that um, there's some things going on now that our
Mhm.
dollar is decreasing in value. And as it
Right.
decreases in value, because those things aren't put out there and the public made aware of it, that's going to affect us in the United States as a whole.
Mhm.
But a project designed to introduce alternate currency wouldn't go through that same pattern, because as the dollar decreased, it might actually increase because it's backed up by a digital currency other than just the dollar. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Right. It is.
So
That
it
makes
would
sense.
be significantly favorable for anyone utilizing such an alternate currency. But before we get back to the currency, let's go back and look at the Rise to Prosperity Incentive Program. This is a program that's designed to build cooperation. It's built on cooperation, commitment, and consideration. And
Mhm.
cooperation, commitment, and consideration defines all the things that is said about why our community is the way it is. It's said that it's that way because there's no cooperation among the people. There's
Mhm.
no commitment to shopping in their own neighborhoods. So
Mhm.
by adding a consideration that could possibly bring about the cooperation and commitment, there stands a great incentive to basically change the narrative of how uh, dollars are spent within the community. In addition to that, if you look at some of the things that are going on, something that has the ability that you could actually reward behavior within the community to the point where if it's um, youth in a certain program, you know, nowadays they have it where was it used to be where prisoners was used to police certain neighborhoods, but it usually wasn't all neighborhoods. So if there was something set up to where people could earn this particular same token for doing certain things, you could reward grades. You could do anything with it. So when you're looking at this type of a currency that can be just sent from one person to the next without a problem, stored for future use, or either used right away, that becomes incentive and reward. So you're able to incentivize behavior on one hand and reward it on the other.
Mhm.
And if you look at the number of institutions that are supposed to be helping the community, you could actually, if they were involved in this process to the point where they made an investment in such a program or in such a community, that investment that they invested in would reward them, because as this particular um, currency is being used, everyone that bought in early is seeing a substantial profit. So as the program continues and it grows, then that's when the individuals that are a part begin to become empowered. There are some people that have a vision for such a task that they actually had built into where they saw themselves as loaning money or coming up with financial institutions. And such a thing is doable with the support of the community, but it has to start somewhere. So when I look at a program that's designed to bring about such change, I could only see it as being favorable. And even if it was a matter of people other than the people in the Black community, because if they got wind of what was going on and said, we'll take that. I don't know if you were aware, but there was a point when people used to advertise coupons, and stores didn't waste their dollars advertising coupons. What they said was that they would match another store's coupon.
Mhm.
So if I went and spent $2,000 in coupons advertisement, and the store closer to me or had better products said that they would match that coupon, I could take the coupon that someone did to help them and their sales, take it to the store that is their competitor, and give it to their competitor and get the same product.
Mhm.
So not only would that person not get a return on their investment, they would be now out of the dollars they spend in advertising. There are a lot of things that go on economically and financially that could be looked at, enhanced, and modified somewhat, that it would benefit um, communities. But those communities would have to be a part of that effort in trying to get that done. It wouldn't take a large group of people at one time. It could be something that could grow slowly. And if it's introduced on a national level,
Mhm.
that could be someone in, let's say, the down south, or a Georgia CSRA, or some of the marketing organizations. If they support it, then word of mouth begins to grow, value begins to grow. And it only makes sense at that point that as adoption grows, so does the benefit for the community.
Mhm.
So when asked about the question of the R2PIP program, it's a program with a lot of features, because it also, as it brings about that cooperation between businesses and community, it then empowers, if you can imagine uh, an event being done in the community, and they are accepting the tokens as payment, or they're giving people tokens for attending.
Mhm.
Everyone
Mhm.
that attends get this number of tokens. So rather than spend so much on advertisement, you save a small amount. You give people tokens that leave, and with the intent and mindset that if I went to this event 6 months ago, and the token that I got there might have only been $2, but now it might be 3, 4, 5. It would
Mhm.
only make sense, right?
Mhm. Right.
So when you are incentivizing such cooperation, you can get a lot more done within the community, and people are rewarded for their participation. So like any task, there's still the elements that are important, such as how do you get people involved with this? How do you get the word out? How do you make this happen? And that's where the decisions come into place. So what is one way you think, just asking you from what you have seen and do know, now that you know a little bit more about the Rise to Prosperity Incentive Program, what population of people would you think would be a good focal group for such a program?
Well, I think any Black-owned business.
Okay. You know, I had this thought.
Mm-hmm.
There, have you ever gone to a business that I know this is rare, a Black business that did nails, pedicures, manicures?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so let's say someone decide to do that closer to home versus where they might be getting it done. And then they're deciding to do that. They open that up and they actually accepted the R2PIP token.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an incentive to shop there. So let's say if they were not co-located, but they were aligned with a beauty salon, hairdresser, beauty salon accepts R2PIP. They also give customers that may come with a certain frequency a reward of R2PIP tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So they can be used to reward the behavior or they can be used to pay for the service. But either way it goes now, the person that just left the beauty salon now has R2PIP tokens. If not this week, the next week, next week, next week. But they decide they want to go and get their nails done. Same place that they got their hair done gave them a token that has increased in value that they can now go and get their nails done.
Mm-hmm.
So these aren't businesses that necessarily had to be in the community, but if they are in the community and they're involved in the program, can you see where it would be beneficial for the community in addition to the consumer and the businesses that were using this particular token?
Yeah, I could see where it would be beneficial for the businesses to use it.
Why not the customer?
Well, I mean the customer as well, because if they use the business and if they know they have this token and they can spend it at other participating businesses, they would probably need to have, well, who else is participating in this?
But see, that's where the creativity comes in it, because a lot of people now are doing the hair. So they're buying hair from where?
The big beauty supply.
Okay. Is that probably normally us?
No.
Okay, so let's just say we knew that we had some customers that would shop with us for sure because we are accepting a certain currency. Think it might be advantageous for us to maybe start something of that nature?
Yes, it will be, for us to start. Yes.
Okay, so the more we research and the more we find that we can supply and resource, we're bringing more and more dollars into our community. So when we needed to invest in something that was not, because it can be converted back to currency, it would be easy to do so and continue doing what we had done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at a program of this nature, as you can see, it is a catalyst for change in the narrative as it is, and incentivizing and rewarding behavior as it is, and making a difference. So the Rise to Prosperity Incentive Program, it has a lot of options. If you could imagine also Most businesses need to advertise with radio stations, right?
Hmm.
Many of them with YouTube and all these other places. So that would be a marketing company, right?
Yes.
Co-op advertisement, because you have the token and you're a part of an organization that is set up to offer this co-op advertisement. Go back to the bulletin boards in the neighborhoods. A lot of things that you could tap into that would be done, you'd be able to do
Hmm.
at a better rate, at a unified effort, and toward a common goal, a common end. So if I were trying to sell you as a business on R2PIP, what questions would you have for me? I mean, after our little exchange here.
Um, where could I exchange the token?
Okay. And if I could show you where the last disposition of your token could be in your Cash App as Bitcoin, would that make you happy?
Hmm.
So with technology being what it is today, there are plenty of means of converting digital currency to fiat currency. And that won't be a problem soon, because plans are for our government to go to a digital currency. So
Hmm.
that last portion about getting it from your card to get cash won't be an issue if everything that they're saying is correct, because there will be no more cash. So the getting it to the BTC or to whatever digital currency will be the last stop.
Hmm. Right.
So if there's a legitimate means of doing all of these transactions to the point that you're able to send exactly what you need to send down to the fraction of a penny
Hmm.
without carrying any cash, and doing so in a manner that calls for the use of your cell phone, which nowadays, that is what they're doing at the register to confirm certain cards, right?
Hmm.
So the technology wouldn't be as advanced, but it would be in keeping with the existing technology,
Right.
taking advantage of the trends. So by getting ahead, a community that was implementing such a program would profit from doing so, and I mean literally and longevity wise,
Hmm.
because there's a certain level of education that has to be taught among populations of people of certain ages which aren't up on digital currency. But if the whole country is going digital, it's only a matter of time before that digital lesson or education is forced on everyone.
Right.
Okay. And here's a comment here. Can you read that?
Okay. Okay. Sister Deborah writes, by word of mouth from the customers that would increase the business for the businesses that rendered the service to me would bring in more business. Correct?
Is that correct?
Okay. Yes.
That is
Um,
correct.
yes, that's correct. So, it would be by word of mouth, but the thing that, well, not but, however, um, there would possibly have to be some type of directory of other businesses that are taking the coin as well. So if you know that your um, beauty supply store is taking the coin, okay, you've got your coin and you keep up with whether it's up or down or whatever, you know that, okay, it's up. Let me go and the beauty supply. I need to get this, that, or the other. Or let me go and get my nails done. Okay. And you could just use that on your phone, basically scanning a code, a QR code, to transfer that from you to whomever is whomever the business is.
Mhm.
Yes.
Exactly. So that directory would be an easy task because now they have apps that keep all that type data that pull it from the internet. So
Mm.
that piece there would probably be the easiest portion. The marketing and getting the businesses on board would be the other piece.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Yes. Yes.
that would be um, doable. Is very doable. Right now, there are Black directories that you can actually go online and search your neighborhood for Black businesses. So if those Black businesses had to happen to have that they were a participant in the R2PIP program, or actually their directory, which was a listing of businesses with the R2PIP program, then that same app that's pre-existing, those same directories that are pre-existing, some of them might even marketing to their pre-existing customers, because in theory, it works.
Hmm.
So looking at the R2PIP program, um, here's a document right here. I want you to listen to this. This document is dated January 21st, 2024. I want you to take a look at it. Do you see this evidence, Your Honor? Can you see that?
Yes.
This is what it reads. Churches and religious organizations will play a role in making the vision come to fruition. Organizations have a need to advertise and publicize their doings within the community. Organizations that support large numbers are rallied to the support of large number of people. Members of the church are all political members of what it was called PIP, Promotion Incentive Program. Members and business owners alike. By supporting PIP, they mutually bless each other. In the process of blessing each other, are better able to be a blessing to their churches. Beginning with a fundraiser to its members, soliciting $10 donation from each one toward the purchase of a PIP card. Each card sold raises $5 for the church. An additional 10% of the $5 remaining would be donated to the church in the form of incentive dollars. Business owners are then encouraged to participate in marketing strategies which generate new customers for their business and gives them monetary incentives for their return. Okay, I won't read the rest of this, but this was 2004. So when you
You
look at
said
R2,
2024.
no, well, if I did, that was an error. I said 2004. So that lets you know that time-honored ideals, they linger. At that
Hmm.
time, there was no crypto to fill the void from some of the things that this program could have done. But now that there is, having this and the use of today's technology, the idea can only be perfected. But I was sharing that from 2004, to
Hmm.
imply that though this may be a new introduction, it's not it's not a new idea. A lot of research was put into that program. But anyway, that is where the Rise to Prosperity incentive program or originated 2004. And we are
Hmm.
now in 2025, which is 21 years later.
Mm.
Advances in technology and the spirit of an idea never dies.
Hmm.
I once heard someone say that the idea was more valuable than the, how was that? The idea is more valuable than the money. The people that are financing the idea don't ever sell your idea short. People with money, they look to make money, but they can't come up with ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So just sharing that. But Sister Deborah, Sister Kelly, any questions from either of y'all? Oh yeah, I didn't tell you all, but we've cut the show down to an hour. So we usually go about 5 or 10 minutes over. That's what we're going to end up at today. But do either one of you have any input or question, or you, Lady Antoinette?
No, I don't.
Okay, then in that case, and neither one of them do either. Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right, Sister Deborah said, when you explained on it, she said, okay, I understand that. All right. I want to thank those of you who have joined us and those of you who may see this later. My Emmy moment is this, that there are things that God has given us, and some of them we may have birthed, and some of them we may have aborted. But sometimes it's just a matter of going back to revisit what God said. So as I move forward, I'm inspired not solely by the PIP, but the spirit of what was going on at the time that program was written. And I thank God for everything that he has given unto me. That sign behind me there is actually older than that document. The sign is probably 2001, 2002. Ideas that are of value, they don't die. As a matter of fact, they don't even lose their value. It just requires someone hopeful to implement. So as we move forward, you will hear more about Rise2Prosperity Incentive Program. Its success or failure is not dependent solely upon me, but upon you, we, and us. Thank you all. My Emmy moment is rise to the occasion. When you rise to the occasion, you are better positioned to overcome life circumstances and situations. And it may be of something that's an idea that's more than 21 years old. That might be the hottest thing cooking 21 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Never can tell. Time will, though. All
Amen.
right. I turn it over to you, Lady Antoinette.
All right. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out, being here this evening with us on our broadcast. Sister Callie Lewis, I thank you. Sister Joanne Ramirez was here for a short time. She said she just wanted to come through to see our beautiful faces. And also to Sister Deborah Westcott. We thank you as well for being here in our conversation room. And we want to invite you all back next Wednesday, same time. Again, we will be going for an hour or a little over on next week. And also remember on Friday evenings at 8 p.m., we have the OTR community. I think that's going to be it. Beloved, it is our hope that you prosper and be in good health as you rise above your situation and circumstances. I am elect Lady Antoinette Eatman, and I am on the rise. Peace and blessings.